Show. Turn up your mind.
Briefing I got from the FBI, you wouldn't have Swalwell on any committee.
What?
And you're going to tell me other Democrats couldn't fill that slot? He cannot get a security clearance in the private sector.
What?
So would you like to give him a government clearance? You asked me questions about Santos. You asked the questions about Swalwell. Not only was he getting a clearance, he was inside an intel committee.
So?
He had more information than the majority of all the members. Did you ever raise that issue?
Why?
No, but you should have. You're going to tell me there's 200 other Democrats that couldn't fill that slot, but they kept him on it? The only way that they even knew it came forward is when they went to nominate him to the Intel Committee. And then the FBI came and told the leadership then, he's got a problem. And they kept him on. That jeopardized all of us. Adam Schiff openly lied to the American public.
What?
He told you he had proof. He told you he didn't know the whistleblower. He put America for 4 years through an impeachment that he knew was a lie.
What?
At the same time we had Ukraine, at the same time we had Afghanistan collapse. Was that the role of the Intel Committee? No. So what I am doing with the Intel Committee, bringing it back to the jurisdiction it's supposed to do. Forward-looking to keep this country safe. Keep the politics out of it. So yes, I'm doing exactly what we're supposed to do.
Wow, he is really a disgusting, smarmy, unbelievable world heavyweight champion bullcrapper. That's Kevin McCarthy, obviously, and he's conflating a couple things there. But let's just discuss this. Eric Swalwell does not have a problem. The FBI did not brief Kevin McCarthy and tell him he's got a problem. That never happened. In fact, the FBI actually told Eric Swalwell about what? 12 years ago? This is going back 12 years. 12 years ago, Eric Swalwell was running for the Congress. And, he's in California, and there were all kinds of people that were fundraising for him. And one of those people that was fundraising for him disappeared and went back to China. She was a Chinese citizen. She never gave him a dime. There was no Chinese money that was ever donated to Eric Swalwell's campaign. None of that ever happened. But because she was a young girl, okay, and she was fundraising and went back to China rapidly. I don't know. She just checked out and said she was going back to China. All of a sudden, Eric Swalwell gets tainted with he was, cuddled up to some Chinese spy. Well, I got news for you. This girl from China, she was trying to get close, just like, the one from the NRA. Remember her who went back to Russia? Yeah. Just like that, she had come here to insert herself into, the National Rifle Association. She's now a member of the Duma in Russia. That redhead?
Is it Butina or something?
Yes, Maria Butina, that's her. And she was a Russian spy, and she got inside the NRA, and actually somehow $30 million showed up at the NRA. $30 million was donated. I mean, these people are such front-running phonies. They are so fake. They are so fraudulent. They are so disgusting. Eric Swalwell today is getting, death threats, really threatening, disgusting phone calls about how they're going to hang him and he's going to swing from a tree. And, it's just so disgusting. This is a story that happened, so many years ago. And the FBI told Eric Swalwell about this girl and said, you really ought to stay away from her. And he said, fine, and did. But when Republicans are told Maria Butina was sent here by Vladimir Putin and they inserted her into the NRA, no, that didn't happen. That's not true. And she goes back to Russia, and now she's in the Russian Duma. She's a member of the House in Russia. And, putting out propaganda for Vladimir Putin on, the TikToks and the Instagrams and the Twitters. They're so sick. They're so twisted. But as far as who couldn't get a security clearance, let's not leave that subject without mentioning that Jared Kushner and Ivanka couldn't get security clearances. Do you remember that? They couldn't pass the vetting. So Donald Trump had to insert himself And General Kelly, who was the chief of staff at that time, said, I'm sorry, Mr. President, but your son-in-law and your daughter do not qualify for security clearances. We can't give them security clearances. Donald Trump said, I'm the president. I can give anybody a security clearance. And John Kelly made a note of it, saying that against the intelligence community's best assessment, Donald Trump wishes to and is giving security clearances to Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump.